We have a challenge in our region. That growing prosperity isn't equal to everyone. Not everyone has access or opportunity to participate in that growing prosperity. In fact, in some places, metrics go backwards and have continued to go backwards for years, in fact, if not decades. To achieve change in those areas, we need systemic change. So it's not individual organisations doing things, it's not individual programs helping people. And while they're important and they're useful, we need to change the system. The system by which we operate needs to change to allow these places to participate in this growing prosperity that we know exists. You can see the 4 target communities of the GROW initiative: Norlane, Corio, Whittington and Colac. And those figures up there that you can see are the latest figures coming out of the census. The G21 unemployment rate, well, of course that changes. We get a new figure every month. And the latest is in fact 6.3% unemployment rate. So you can see that at 6.3%, that's around about state average. It's around about national average as well. So that's good as a region, and I think we could pat ourselves on the back about that. But if you look at the unemployment rates of the areas that we're talking about, Norlane at 17%, and Corio at 12%, Whittington at 10%, all way higher, some double, some nearly triple the average rate of the region. Colac's an interesting one because as a broad place, again, Colac is at 4%. So again, we could say, well, hang on, why Colac? But Colac experiences exactly the same challenge that we experience here in Geelong, and that is that pockets of Colac, not all of it, pockets of Colac experience severe disadvantage. So at a more micro level, at a level where you look at about 200 households, and we've characterised it up there as a small area unemployment, you can see that in Norlane, small areas, so if you break Norlane up into 200 household lots, you've got unemployment ranging from 6%, which is about the average of the region and about the state, all the way up to 25%, and the same in Corio. So that means 1 in 4 people in those blocks of 200 households, 1 in 4 people are unemployed. The final thing I want to just draw your attention to is the CEFA ranking. So the CEFA is Socio-Economic Index for Areas, body of work done at each census, where it effectively ranks every area in the country on relative disadvantage. So you get a score. While the scores sometimes can be hard to compare from census to census, it doesn't necessarily correlate that way. Rankings can. So within our region, we've got East Colac ranked as the 2nd most disadvantaged community in the state. We've got Norlane ranked as the 3rd most, and then Corio 26th ranked and Whittington 18. So all 4 areas in the top, if you can say top, worst 30 in our state, 2 of the 4 in the worst 3. And the stats are very important in those places. What also is important is what we hear from participants and clients, if you like, within the GROW initiative. You see the figures, you see the numbers, and you think, gosh, they're awful. What are the barriers to getting jobs? They told us a whole range of different things. They told us about internet troubles. They told us around trust. They talked about just being given a chance. Talked about misconceptions about who they are and what they're capable of. They talked about just absolutely being invisible and even, but knowing still that they needed a job. Imagine if you were pigeonholed because of the way you looked, because of the clothes you wore, but you don't really have any ability to change those because you don't have the funds or the access to change your clothes. Because of your surname, just simply because of your surname is a name that, isn't acceptable in the labour market that you're in, or because of your address. So you're pigeonholed because of those. And because of those pigeonholes, there are absolutely automatic misconceptions about you that are fundamentally incorrect. They're fundamentally wrong just because of those things. Some of those misconceptions are that you're dumb, that you're not smart, based on your address, for God's sake. You can't be smart based on your address. You don't want to work. Hard to imagine that that's the case. Or even probably worse, that you're just utterly invisible and not even considered. A CV just gets thrown aside, no way, not even interested. So while all that's happening around you, you do know though that you want to work and you need to work because you know that a job gives you a place in the world, it gives you a place in the community, it gives you dignity, it gives you funds, it sustains your life. One of the things with the research we've learned is that one of the key things to help people is that you need a supportive environment. within employers. Employers need to understand some of the challenges and work with people on challenges, and we do that every day of the week. I know I do it every day of the week, and just because my challenges or the challenges of some people who work within my organisation are different to these challenges, that's all they are, they're just different, they're still challenges. And a supportive environment is absolutely critical, as is some individual support for those people. Individual continued support to stay in those jobs. So that's a bit about the why. So I guess how do we go about doing this? So the compact action plans and the Grow Compact is the key vehicle to how we create change and cultural change within our region. We've currently got 82 compact signatories, which is fantastic. And then in some ways that's an achievement in itself, I reckon, although it's not necessarily the achievement we want to talk about today. But it is a significant achievement. Obviously we would hope to continue to grow that. Of those 82, we had 26 who supplied us with data. There are 46 compact action plans being developed, not necessarily in place. So of the 82, we've got 46 compact action plans being developed. Another great result. Having said that, the converse of that is there's nearly 40 that aren't. These are the organisations that have actually published their plans. So they're public documents available to people to see. They're on our website. And the theory of change looks a little bit like that. It's a nice linear thing, and it sort of goes like this. So if we change the expenditure and the procurement within the region, that'll grow the economy, that'll grow local jobs, and then our role is to target some of those local jobs to disadvantaged areas. So the reality in the operation of Grow is it's more like that. It can be a mess, and we sort of think we know where we are, so we're here somewhere. And then what happens is that an organisation shuts down. One of our key partners closes their doors, or they merge. A number of organisations merge. And while we think we're there, maybe in fact we're actually over there, we get a handle on that and we say, that's good, but then key personnel from key organisations leave, or there's an organisation restructure or multiple organisations restructures, different funding shifts in the employment services or the training sector or a significant sector. There's an economic transition. And while we think we're maybe there, actually maybe we're here. Within all of that mess, one of the things that we know is that we're working in a dynamic environment. What have we been able to achieve? Some of the things within that we can report, and I'm really pleased to be able to report these things, is that we've seen a $20.21 million shift from non-local expenditure to local expenditure over the course of the last 12 months. That $20.2 million through economic modelling and using REM plan has created about 179 jobs. One of the key outcomes, the absolute key outcomes of Grow is jobs in targeted communities. And what I'm really excited to be able to report is that we can put our hands on the shoulders of 75 people who are from our targeted communities who have jobs, who have been given a job over the last 12 months. That is a fantastic result. That's organisations from our compact signatories creating opportunities for people in our targeted areas and employing them, 75 people. Now those jobs could be apprenticeships, they could be traineeships. Equally, we've got 7 job pathways, and those pathways are things like internships and work experience. So the journey to getting a job is both a journey that sometimes organisations take, as well as the employers, as well as the job seekers. And that journey sometimes starts with work experience or an internship. And so they're really important. While they're not jobs, they're really important pathways towards becoming employed. You can see last year that we've put the last year's results, 2016, up there as well, and we reported 60. What I can also say, we asked a lot of questions when collecting this data. What I can tell you is that of the 60 from last year, 72% of them are still in the job. So that is a really high retention rate, a fantastic retention rate, and goes to not only the environment employers are providing those people, but also the support that many services, many organisations around Geelong are providing those people, individual support. It really goes to that collective action in trying to help people into a role. Of the jobs this year, 16% were in Colac, 32% were in Whittington, and 52% were in Norlane, Corio. The message, I think, is clear, is that we have had some really good results, and I think we are slowly starting to see some change. So I think there are lots of reasons why being a Grow signatory is good for your business. Creates a diversity in your workplace. Through that diversity, you get a different a different lens, different opinions, different views on the world, which is only going to make your business better. It'll help engage your employees because your employees will see you doing something different. You'll have a diversity of conversation which will engage your employees. What Grow's trying to do, in a very broad sense, is create a better and more inclusive economy. And a better economy is better for all businesses. Very hard to run a really good, successful business in a failing economy. Really hard thing to do. So a successful economy is going to be good for your business. But I reckon there's one other thing, and it's happened just recently, in fact only a couple of days ago. So while I'm not pretending for 1 minute Grow was the reason for this announcement, but it did play a role. It certainly played a role. So 2 days ago in the state budget, the state government committed $150 million to a city deal for Geelong and the region, and are looking to the federal government to match that, and we're very hopeful that will happen. That is quite a momentous announcement and time for the region. It's going to see the long-awaited convention centre built. It's going to see revitalisation, further revitalisation of the CBD. It's going to see increased and better safe harbour down at the yacht club, and most importantly, I think for the region, it's going to see the development of the Shipwreck Coast Master Plan, which will create jobs and employment and the visitor economy experience, incredibly important to this region and, if you like, the spine of this region, the Great Ocean Road. But one of the reasons, I reckon, that the federal government decided that Geelong and the region surrounding Geelong would be the place for the first Victorian city deal is because of Grow. Not the only reason by any stretch, and probably not even the main one, but certainly one of them. We were ready and prepared. We knew what we were talking about, and we knew that a city deal wasn't just going to be about give us some money. It was about actually linking it in and making sure that we had inclusive growth, and that the growth that $150 million, hopefully matched, so $300 million is going to provide, will be inclusive growth, that everyone within the region will get the opportunity to share in that. So if that's not a good business reason why to sign up to Grow, I don't know what else is. As important, if not more important, is simply an ethical one. So I think it's important that we don't just drive past, that we don't just walk past, that we don't just say this is what that person, those people's lot in life is, that we actually act and do something about that. So we have to act. We have to actually consciously act. If you're a compact signatory, you have to act still because you've got to do a compact action plan. If you're not a compact signatory, then you have to act by signing up. Whether you're from Newtown or Norlane, whether you're from Lewis, Colac, West Geelong or Whittington, we all share this place together. And I reckon everyone in this place that we share should have the opportunity to participate in this place and be successful in this place just as much as anyone else.